When I remember first meeting David Harvey, that's something that I think most people probably don't forget, and I certainly didn't. Meeting David was, I think, a great gateway into understanding the University of St. Thomas. David has an almost unparalleled way of engaging the community, and you see that in the skyline that rises around us. Not just here in Houston, but elsewhere. And that contribution, whether it's to the clinic downtown, whether it's to other Catholic apostolates, or right here at the University of St. Thomas, he has this ability to network and connect people, not for his own purposes, but for the greater good of the community and our church.
You know, one of the things that David was so instrumental in was helping in the capital campaign that allowed us to build the C-Ship building. David worked tirelessly. Frankly, that would not have been done but for David's continued efforts to visit with people and tell them what our story was. David lives his faith, and that's what, if you look at all of it he's done at the university, he's living his faith every day. If somebody has a need in the Catholic community, David's name will usually show up, and David is usually there to say, how can I help?
David Harvey is a giver, right? Which is great. And it's part of the success of this company. And a big part of our culture is giving back to the community. And we're involved with, as a company, 50 to 100 different charitable organizations. And I think that comes from David and Joe as well.
Everyone who works here kind of feels part of the Harvey Builders family. You know, it does have a very strong family feel to the company, and all of the employees seem to have that Harvey heart. Even if they aren't part of the Harvey family, they're a part of the Harvey Builder family.
That's the bottom line, is that we're all servant leaders around here. And so, yeah, we all have the Harvey heart.
A bit of this evening is about celebration of David's various families, and his work family is tremendous. David knows what creates a great project. You can have all the capital, you can have companies, you can have the tenants, but it's the people that with the trades and the skills that build it. And I look at the quality of the individuals that he and Joe have made junior partners and now senior partners, and another whole row of junior partners. And it is a very, very strong culture that should be emulated.
You know, Dave was from a big family, lots of brothers and sisters. And the construction industry, especially in Houston, is like a big family. And that's nice to be able to work with people you've known your whole lives and that you respect, and we all have a common goal of, doing all the right things for the right reasons. But Dave's an operations guy. He loves construction. He has a total commitment to safety. Dave was one of the leaders in establishing protocols for COVID. Our association took that to the governor and said, this is what we're going to do. And he used that protocol with other industries as well.
David is one of the most ethical people I know. He has a really good heart, and he's a family person. He's a great husband, and he's a great father. The first time we met was running, and we share a passion for running. When I think about David, I think about what a great support he is. And when I was qualifying for the Boston Marathon, I tried to do it in Houston. I missed it by 1 minute and 30 seconds. And about 2 months later, David ran it by my side during Valentine's Day in Austin, and I made it. And I think that's a really good analogy for our relationship. We're really running partners. We're partners in life, and we're partners through the miles. He likes to tell stories, and he likes to share his knowledge, and he likes to learn, and he really does like to teach. We kid him that he's a teacher because he's got an honorary doctorate that University of St. Thomas gave him. So my girls like to say there's 2 doctors in the house.
As an adult, David he's always been somebody I can go to for advice. When I think of David, I automatically go back to my parents and the way in which they raised us, and the influences and lessons they taught us. And it was a lot about the betterment of the whole.
There was a ethos of all for one and one for all, and that's the way we were raised. And my mother had a saying about counting strawberries. When the children were really little, she would give each of them bowls of strawberries, and invariably, like, children take the strawberries out and start counting them. And she would be, no, we're not doing that. We're not counting strawberries, and I'm not going to make everything exactly equal for you, because that's just not the way that we're going to be doing this. And we just knew that was the way it was, and it was the kind of care that we learned for each other. I told that story last year at my mother's funeral about the counting strawberries, but the grandkids all came up to me and said, I'm so glad to hear that, because that feels like the entire, value system that we were raised with, and the ethos that we had was that we weren't going to be stingy, that we would, always err on the side of generosity.
My dad was just such a tremendous role model for us. He always did the right thing, the next right thing. I'm really grateful for my dad and the lessons that he instilled on us. And seeing him now as a grandpa and a dad with teenagers, he's got some kids in their 40s, and then he has kids that are currently teenagers. He's incredibly patient.
When David would have to do his top-out party speeches, he would be thanking all of the contractors. So he said, Janice, when I finish doing my whole speech in English, I want to do it in Spanish. And I would train him on how to say it and how to pronounce it correctly, so that he knew exactly what he was saying. Then afterwards, I said, so how did your speech go? And he said, I gave the whole thing in English. There was all sorts of kibitzing on all the laborers who didn't speak English well. But then I spoke in Spanish, and all of a sudden it was quiet. And at the end, they stood up and gave him a standing ovation.
He has great leadership skills. Pair him up against anybody. And one thing he's always been is diplomatic. I remember when he went to college, he told me afterwards that he was a bouncer at a bar. I said, what, Dave, you were a bouncer at a bar? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, how did you handle that? Because you always kind of talk your way out of fights. And he said, well, I would try and talk the guys out of being aggressive, and I had other bouncers if they needed the other part. David has always had good character and core values, and he has ever since he was a little kid. We used to call him Dudley Do-Right because he would always try to do the right thing.
David, congratulations on this evening. It's certainly a well-deserved award. You've been a champion of the University of St. Thomas for many years. So on behalf of me and probably the whole construction industry, thanks for all you do. You make it better for all of us.
Thank you for your leadership over the last 28 years of my career. Thanks for some days being a father to me. Some days thanks for being like a brother to me. But most importantly, thanks for being a friend. You've been a great friend over the last 30 years, so I really appreciate it.
Can't think of anyone more deserving of this award at the University of St. Thomas than you. You've done so much for our city and our community, and you're a selfless leader.
Hey, dude. As we know, I call you dude, not dad. Congratulations on your award. It's much deserved. Thank you for all that you've done for us and, of course, for the Catholic community.
I think you've been a great leader for me growing up and really shown to be a strong servant leader in the community, and it's something that I've noticed, and I think everybody around you has noticed, and I'm glad you're getting this recognition, and we'll try to follow your example.
David, congratulations on this well-deserved award. It not only honors you and your family, it honors the entire commercial construction industry to know and let people know that we have people like you.
After all these years of being friends and brothers and business partners, this is one of the greatest honors that anyone could ever get. Congratulations.
Thank you for a life extremely well lived. We've all benefited from it.
Thank you, David. Thank you very, very much for your wonderful contribution in so many different ways, all of which come to help the community of St. Thomas
Congratulations, David, on being the honoree, and I am just so grateful for supporting Bob. So thank you for taking care of my buddy.
David, thank you. And that seems pretty simple, but you know, you're a pretty direct guy most of the time. And your heart, your love, the care that you share with us, thank you for allowing us to celebrate your life and your contributions to us in this way.
And thank you for being part of our UST family. You are UST, and we're so happy that you are here and you've helped lead the way to what UST is today. Thank you.